It was Christmas evening. Last minute shoppers were going back to their home, and it was the time to close shops at Salt Lake City in USA. But lights in Ray's shop were still on because he was repairing a clock that he had sold. Ray, the owner of the shop, was old and deaf. After finishing his work, when Ray got up and was going to the back room, a cold wave of air touched his neck from the front door. He turned to see the shopper who came to his shop at the last minute, but as a wise and experienced person, he noticed that there were no shoppers. He saw two men. One was young and the other was middle-aged. The younger man stopped at the door and the middle-aged came to the counter. There was no sign of friendliness in the visitor's eyes. Somehow, Ray wisely hid his fear and slowly pushed a notepad and a pencil towards him. Ray smiled and then, with his gestures pointing to his ears and shaking his head from one side to another, told the man that he was deaf. The information on the notepad brought a change on the man's face. He turned and said something to his friend. This gave Ray some time to look and examine the man closely. He observed the shape of the gun and his hand movement in his coat's right pocket. Ray was feeling angry inside, but his wisdom asked him to cool down and be still. He asked the man writing on the notepad if he could help him. With this, the man looked straight at Ray and smiled. It was a cruel smile, as if making fun of something. Both of them understood the reason for their being in the shop. Both of the men were looking really unlucky, who were trying something for which they could feel sorry later. Ray then calmly asked him by writing a message if they had come to take a clock or watch. Ray also pointed to the loan board filled with hanging clocks and pocket watches to tell them that he gave money as loan in exchange for people's old watches and clocks. He was not a man who gave money to people to take some security in return or earn interest. He did all that to help needy people. They take their watches back after returning the money to Ray without any interest. This made the older man feel easy. He looked at his watch on his wrist and asked Ray what price he could offer him for that. Ray felt that the man was a little ashamed. The watch was not of great worth, but it was special because with this Ray could turn around a bad situation and come out of it safely. Understanding that man's need, Ray asked him how much he needed. The man replied to Ray that he should pay whatever was the worth of that watch. Ray looked into his cash and took out a $50 note. He handed it to the man. It made him happy. As they shook hands, Ray could see that the man's eyes were full of gratitude. Both of them knew that the watch was not of that high price, but Ray gave a good price for it. Before leaving, the man wrote on the notepad that he would come back to take his watch as soon as possible and wished him Merry Christmas. This story ended on the half hour with the clocks striking a particular time together, witnessing the whole incident. It seemed as if deaf ears of Ray could also hear that ringing music. Their musical striking bells produced a music which spread a message of hope and peace. The message of peace on earth and goodwill towards all spread everywhere and was felt by the three men in the old cloak shop. Moral of the story: we should have goodwill towards everyone and help them in their need, and peace should prevail everywhere on earth.